A shocking lie about military deployment that deceived many. The message came at 2:17 a.m. No warning, no build-up, just a vibration on a silent phone resting beside a half-empty glass of water. Captain Armin Malik woke instantly, heart racing before his eyes even opened. Years of service had trained his body to respond to urgency before understanding it. He reached for the phone. Immediate deployment. Report to base within 3 hours. No explanation, no location, no mission briefing. Just like that, everything changed. Within minutes, Armin was dressed, boots laced, uniform sharp. Outside, the night was still, almost too calm. The kind of calm that hides something massive beneath it. As he drove through empty roads toward the base, one thought kept repeating in his mind. Why no details? This wasn't normal. At the base, chaos was disguised as order. Soldiers rushed quietly. Equipment was loaded with unusual speed. No chatter, no jokes, no usual pre-mission tension release. Something was different. Armin spotted his closest friend, Lieutenant Hamza, adjusting his gear. "You got the briefing?" Armin asked. Hamza shook his head slowly. "Nothing. Just classified." "Since when did they deploy without telling us where?" Hamza looked around before leaning closer. "Since something big is being hidden." Those words hung in the air like smoke. Within an hour, they were on a military transport aircraft. No windows, no communication, just the low hum of engines and the heavy silence of uncertainty. A soldier across from Armin whispered, "I heard it's a border conflict." Another said, "No, internal operation. High priority." Rumors spread like wildfire in a sealed box. But no one knew the truth. Hours passed. Finally, the aircraft landed. The doors opened, and what they saw made no sense. It wasn't a battlefield. It wasn't even near a conflict zone. It was a remote, heavily secured compound in the middle of nowhere. No signs, no flags, just fences, towers, and an eerie stillness. "Where the hell are we?" Hamza muttered. They were ordered off the plane and immediately separated into groups. No phones, no outside contact, no questions allowed. Then came the first real shock. A senior officer addressed them. "From this point forward, you are not soldiers. You are not here officially. This mission does not exist." Silence, confusion, fear. Armin felt something twist inside his chest. This wasn't deployment. This was something else. Days turned into a strange routine. No combat drills, no patrols. Instead, they were assigned to guard different sections of the compound. Armin's post was near a large underground facility. Every night, trucks arrived, unmarked, heavily guarded, and whatever was inside was never shown. But one night, something went wrong. A crate fell. It cracked open. Armin saw it. Not weapons, not supplies. People, unconscious, weak, barely alive. Civilians. His blood ran cold. "What is this?" he whispered. A superior officer immediately stepped in. "You saw nothing." But Armin had seen everything. That night, he couldn't sleep. Questions attacked his mind. Why were civilians being transported like cargo? Why were soldiers deployed here without information? Why was this operation hidden from the world? The next day, he confronted Hamza. "You saw anything strange?" Armin asked carefully. Hamza hesitated, then nodded. "They're not telling us the truth." "Then what is this place?" Hamza's voice dropped. "I think we're not here to protect the country." Armin felt a chill. "Then what are we doing?" Hamza looked him in the eyes. "I think we're here to protect a lie." That sentence changed everything. From that moment, Armin started paying closer attention. Patterns emerged. The civilians were being moved in and out. Doctors were present, but no official medical records. Soldiers were rotated frequently, as if to prevent them from noticing too much. And the biggest red flag: no one was allowed to leave. Weeks passed. Then came the breaking point. One night, a man escaped. Barefoot, weak, desperate. He ran straight toward Armin's post. "Please, help me," the man whispered, collapsing. Armin rushed to him. "Who are you? What is this place?" The man grabbed his uniform tightly. "They told us we were being relocated, for safety." His voice cracked. "But this is not safety." Before he could say more, alarms blared. Guards rushed in. The man was taken away. Forcefully. Silently, Armin stood frozen. That was the moment the truth became unavoidable. This deployment was a lie. The next day, Armin was called in. A senior officer sat across from him. Cold, controlled. "You've been asking questions." Armin stayed silent. The officer leaned forward. "You're a soldier. Your duty is to follow orders, not question them." Armin replied slowly, "My duty is to protect people." A pause. Then the officer said something chilling. "Not all people." That sentence confirmed everything. This wasn't a mission. It was an operation built on deception. A lie so big, even the soldiers were trapped inside it. Armin walked out of that room with one decision forming in his mind. He couldn't stay silent. That night, he found Hamza. "We need to get out," Armin said. Hamza nodded immediately. "I was waiting for you to say that." They weren't just risking their careers. They were risking their lives. But the truth had to come out. Because the biggest weapon in that compound wasn't guns, wasn't soldiers, it was silence. And silence was the real enemy. What they didn't know yet was that the lie was even bigger than they imagined. And escaping it would be the most dangerous mission of their lives. The decision was made in silence, but its consequences would be loud enough to shake everything. That night felt heavier than any battlefield Armin had ever stood on. Not because of bullets or explosions, but because of the truth pressing down on him. A truth that refused to stay buried. Hamza sat across from him in the dim barracks light. "No turning back after this," Hamza said quietly. Armin nodded. "There was no turning back the moment we saw those people." Outside, the compound looked the same as always, quiet, controlled, precise. But now, it felt like a prison. Not just for the civilians. For them too. Their plan was simple, and dangerous. Find out where the civilians were being taken. Collect proof. Escape. Expose everything. Simple in theory, deadly in reality. The first step came faster than expected. Around midnight, another convoy arrived. Same unmarked trucks, same tight security. But this time, Armin noticed something different. One of the guards at the loading bay wasn't from their unit. New face, nervous posture. Mistakes like that only happened when systems were stretched. "Tonight," Armin whispered. Hamza didn't hesitate. "Let's move." They blended into the shadows, moving like they had done 100 times before, but this time, every step felt heavier. Every sound louder. As they approached the underground entrance, voices echoed. Transfer batches larger than expected. Orders came directly from above. No records, same as before. Armin's jaw tightened. No records. No identities. No trace. They slipped inside. The underground facility was colder than expected. Sterile. Artificial. Like a place designed to erase humanity. Rows of rooms. Metal doors. Small glass panels. Armin forced himself to look inside one. A woman. Weak. Eyes half open. She wasn't injured. She was drained. "What are they doing to them?" Hamza whispered. They moved deeper. Then they found it. A central room filled with computers, files, and screens. This was it. The truth. Armin quickly started searching. Files were encrypted, but one system was already open. And what he saw made his hands freeze. A list. Hundreds of names. Marked as relocated. But beside many names, another word appeared. Processed. What does processed mean? Hamza asked. Armin scrolled further. Then they saw the documents. Medical extraction reports. Biological data. Unauthorized procedures. Human testing. Hamza stepped back. This isn't relocation. Armin finished the sentence. It's exploitation. The lie shattered completely. This wasn't about safety. This wasn't about protection. This was a hidden operation using civilians as resources. The kind of truth that destroys trust, nations, everything. Then, footsteps. Close. Too close. "Someone's coming," Hamza hissed. Armin quickly copied as much data as he could onto a small drive. The door handle moved. No time. They slipped behind a row of equipment just as 2 officers entered. "Next phase begins soon. Deployment teams will be rotated out. No loose ends." Armin's heart stopped. No loose ends. Hamza's eyes met his. They both understood. They weren't meant to leave. Not after seeing this. The officers left. But the fear stayed. "We need to go. Now," Hamza said. They retraced their path, moving faster this time. But something had changed. The compound wasn't quiet anymore. Alarms. Not loud, but subtle. Controlled. A lockdown. They know, Armin said. Searchlights activated outside. Guards increased. Exit routes blocked. They were trapped. Or so it seemed. Hamza grabbed Armin's arm. There's an old supply tunnel. I saw it during my first shift. Where? North side. Hidden behind storage units. It was their only chance. They moved quickly, keeping low. Voices echoed everywhere now. Check all sectors. No one leaves. Find them. This wasn't a search. It was a hunt. They reached the storage area. Boxes. Containers. Shadows. Hamza pushed aside a large crate. There it was. A narrow tunnel. Dark. Uncertain. Perfect. After you, Hamza said. Armin didn't hesitate. They crawled inside. The air was thick, dusty, tight. Behind them, footsteps grew louder. They're close, Hamza whispered. Armin pushed forward. Every second mattered. Finally, a faint light appeared ahead. The exit. They stumbled out into the cold night air, far beyond the main compound perimeter. But they didn't stop. They ran. Far. Fast. Until the compound lights disappeared behind them. Only then did they slow down. Breathing heavily. Alive. But not safe. Hamza looked at Armin. We did it. Armin shook his head. No. This was just the beginning. He held up the drive. This is the real fight. Somewhere far behind them, inside that silent compound, the lie still lived, and now, it was threatened, because two soldiers had chosen truth over orders. And the people behind that lie would do anything to silence them. Anything. The question was no longer just about survival. It was about exposure. Because once the truth gets out, there's no going back, and what they were about to reveal was far bigger than they ever imagined.